and welcome to The Vision Within. We are your hosts. I'm Katrina.
Loretta.
Lori.
I'm Lisa.
And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the shift in the energy, the eclipse that we've recently experienced, and the upcoming fall equinox. So it's really interesting. We were just all having a conversation about kind of what's coming up for all of us, what we're feeling and experiencing in our daily lives, and what that means. Kind of all the information that we sort of bring to the table and are kind of putting together as a group to understand how this shows up as spiritual learning in our lives. So, Lori, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the Hearth and Home that you feel like you've been coming back to?
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting, ever since the eclipse, right, I was at work and it was really fun because some people had some glasses and we were looking at it and the energy was so high that day. And since I've noticed both in myself and people coming in, friends that I have met, everybody, all I want to do is cook and clean my house and nest. Like I've got a very, very strong sense of nesting and really coming home, weeding in the yard, just really wanting to chat with my kids on the phone, reconnect. And I've noticed how it's been impacting my dreams.
Oh, interesting.
And I've been seeing in my dreams ways that I could, like totally different ways that I could connect what I do, just skill sets that I do in different ways that have more impact, that again impact families or bringing corporations down to back to the roots. Like everything seems to be coming back to roots for me.
So it sounds a lot like attaching to core and being connected to Gaia and Mother Gaia. You went to Kentucky, which was like 0.0, the actual full-on 100% eclipse. Tell us a little bit, if you would, about what that experience was like and what, if anything, you felt as you were experiencing the eclipse.
Yes, I was in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, where it was the longest total solar eclipse in the country. And I didn't expect to feel what I felt. I didn't have any expectations. And I'd never seen a total solar eclipse before. And I was at an Edgar Cayce 100-person private event at the one room schoolhouse of Edgar Cayce down in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, because he was born and raised. And Edgar Cayce was a guy that I think died in the mid-1900s, and he was a prophet in a way. He prophesized the future, and he also, when he went into a trance, and he also prophesized people's health conditions, or he didn't prophesize, but he could tell what was wrong with people when he went into a trance and helped them with cures and things. So he's a very interesting man if you haven't ever read anything about Edgar Cayce. So just in and of itself, there were all these neat people from all over the world that came. And so we were all very open to the energy. And when the eclipse happened and you saw the corona around the sun, it made it look like a black sun with a white ring.
Wow.
It was fantastic. And it did shift me. And it shifted everyone. And so things haven't been the same since, like what you're saying, Laurie. My response is, I already had these trips planned, but I've been traveling ever since. I just got back midweek this week, or Thursday this week. So my response has been, I got to get up and go.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So sort of like a wake-up call, not wake-up call, but a call to action in terms of get busy, get moving.
Yeah, it's allowing, and also it's allowing my inner guidance to guide me where I might want to go, and what I might want to do, and not getting caught up in trying to figure it out. So,
Going with the flow, being in the flow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What about you, Loretta? What's coming up for you as we get closer to the equinox on Friday the 22nd, and we're coming out of the eclipse? What's happening for you?
I almost feel like it's a time of like putting things in order, as you had kind of mentioned, but it's really kind of curious because it's like over the last several weeks, especially since the eclipse, anything that needed to bubble up to the surface and manifest, any kind of negativity or negative situations needed to happen, and then all of a sudden then it's a calming effect. And it's really, I was thinking about this last night, especially with my children. There's some things that have been going on in their lives, and it's like conflict, that they're working through, but then it's like everything that had to happen came up. And then now it's calming again. And I was really laughing because, I've got one more thing to take care of to help my younger daughter with a car. And then I think to myself, okay, now I can actually relax. It's like, you've got all these things that you're trying to help, calm down, or you're trying to help get coordinated. And then that's kind of like my role at this point. And then I agree with you. It's just like, I really am looking forward to that, so I can actually kind of just like come back into myself or into my own. So, and I think that, that's a really important phase between the eclipse and then also the fall equinox coming up. It's almost like this is the phase where anything you need to take care of is going to manifest, so you have to take care of it. So you can kind of start with that fall equinox a little bit, in a different phase or on a different level.
You know what, and I agree with what all of you said. Some of how this is coming up for me is I want to have my hands in herbs and oils all the time. And for those of you who might have seen the post, I recently did a blend for a friend who had a baby to help with healing, and she's had a really good response to that, thank heaven. And also I want to have my hands in it all the time. I'm also getting a lot of really interesting things coming up, like my washer walking across my laundry room floor and blocking my door so I couldn't get in. I had a ticket. I got a ticket from the police, and so I had to pay that. And the ticket was more than actually the offense to correct, so that was pretty challenging. There's a lot of change that's sort of bubbling up and coming to the surface. And so all of that, combined with me asking the question, what do I need to do to raise my vibration, be more spiritually aware? And I can tell you that for us, being able to gather on the fall equinox is a really big deal. In the Celtic tradition of my family on my father's side, it is a time of really shifting from the masculine energy of the summer to the feminine energy of the winter, because the moon is considered to be feminine. And I love just all of the balance and all of the harmony and sort of how it brings everything back to gratitude and Hearth and Home. So I'm really looking forward to a bonfire gathering. That might be something I was even thinking maybe we could post a short video or something, or a picture on risingtidesglobal.com sharing how we are all gathering in gratitude together.
The Facebook page.
The Facebook page.
The Facebook
Yeah,
page.
exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what else is that? You've been traveling to a lot of places. What have you noticed as you've been traveling? Has anything kind of come up for you, or?
I think for me, as it has been the past few years, but more so this year, is anytime I face a challenge, if I do my little 3 A's: accept, appreciate, approve, and just find joy in the challenge. So, like for example, in Mount Shasta, the very last day, which was Tuesday, the last full day. No, it was Wednesday, the last full day. And I was hiking with this friend of mine, and we were bound and determined to find the stupa. And
Stupa.
Stupa. Okay, a stupa is, I think it's Hinduism, but it's like a temple, but you can't go inside. So it looks ornate like a Hindu temple, but you can't go inside.
Okay.
And it was on it's on Mount Shasta. And it's in this very sacred area, ley lines and all this, and only the locals know where it is. So Rob and I were bound and determined. We were the only 2 left of the conference, and we were bound and determined to find this thing, because it's the second day we were trying to find it. And I had my rental car. They upgraded to a van, and why I was using my rental car and not his 4-wheeler, I have no idea. But we're going up the mountain, and they have. I can't remember what it's called, but it's this brush that the wood is harder than any hardwood in Indiana. And it's sort of like comes up to my chest or shoulders. And so this road we were traveling on hadn't been traveled on as frequently in the past, and the brush had grown. So when you go in this, you can't go forward or back. afterwards. And so my van, as a result, got completely destroyed on both sides with branch marks, scratches.
Scratches, wow.
And you know what? Because of these energies and because I've been practicing this accept, appreciate, and approve, I wasn't bothered by it. I said, look, I've got $1,000 deductible, so the most this is going to cost me is $1,000. Oh, you didn't get rental insurance? Nah. So then we realize we go up this big road that we hike about an hour, and we realize this isn't going anywhere. So we go back to the car, and we get in the car, and we start going backwards, or back the way we came, thinking, where is this stupa? And I gave the car keys to Rob because he was better at navigating through the brush, because I was favoring his side rather than mine. But I would literally go like this, because it was so loud. It was like this squeal, like a pig squeal. We were going while it was doing that to the car. And I had this huge van, so it was a lot of damage, square footage wise. And I was leaving, flying out the next day, so the only window of opportunity I had to fix the car would have been the next morning. But again, I just let it all aside. So we're driving down another road on Mount Shasta that's a little bit more of a main road, but none of them are main when you're on the mountain, except the main road up the mountain. And they're not gravel. They're not even. They're mostly just dirt. And all of a sudden, Rob said, "There's the stupa." And he got so excited, he stopped the car, and we had gone a little bit further, so he backed it up, and we got. This is a really long story, but we got in a ditch, and the car is stuck. Okay, we hadn't seen anyone for hours, no cars or anything, and so I got out of the car. I said, we can get out of this, and I kept saying, accept, appreciate, approve. I even called in Archangel Michael. And then I turned around and looked at Rob's side, because he's saying a few cuss words.
He was praying to a different guy.
And
Gotcha.
the left rear tire was up in the air about this high.
Oh, no.
And the stupa's right there. We finally found it. But we've got this issue. It's like all these challenges came forward, and it's like we passed all these tests, so that we didn't get lost in the story and miserable about our situation. We just allowed it to flow, and we just rolled with it. So I kind of got the idea. Rob and I kind of got the idea of how to get out of this. And I said, Rob, I'm going to back up a little bit, and then I'm going to gun it. And he helped me, and I said, you could push it, but there's no way. Because we're downhill. We're going downhill, so you can't push it. But I called in Archangel Michael again, and we got out of it. And then, if on cue, right as we got out of it, and we're driving a little forward so we could park, it's like, we all call in like a beautiful knight in shining, what do you call it, knight with shining armor on a white horse.
Right.
Well, this white truck came that had construction on it. And the first time we'd ever seen a car. So we immediately both thought, well, if we hadn't gotten out of this mess, he could have helped us.
Right.
So anyway, the next day.
It's like the universe sent backup, girl.
So what I'm saying about these energies is, and I'll finish the story real quickly, these energies are so beautiful that they either magnify our misery or they magnify our joy. And we can choose. Wow, so I was magnifying my joy. So I started laughing about the whole thing, the ditch. I was laughing during it. I said, we're going to get out of this, no problem. And I wasn't worried about my damaged car. And so it was like 5 o'clock, and I knew that the collision car companies were going to close. And I decided to call Long Hair Collision because I love the long hair these guys have out there.
Yeah.
And so I called Long Hair, got a hold of this really nice guy. He said, well, we're closing up right now. He said, but I think we can. I said, can you buff my car? They had no idea how much damage.
You had a tree going on the side of the van.
And he said, we could probably fit you in the morning. And I had to leave no later than 10:30.
Okay.
And I couldn't get there until 8:30. Well, doggone it, I got there, and they looked at it and went, whoa, we can do it because it's not down to the metal, but there's so much.
Yeah.
and normally it would take about 4 or 5 hours. They got it done. They said, I don't know how we did it, but we did it in 1 hour for
Oh,
you.
my gosh.
But normally would take 4 to 5 hours.
Holy smokes.
And I'm ready to, I've got my credit card out, ready to just, pay up to $1,000 for this. The car was beautiful. It looked better than when I picked it up.
Oh my God.
Everything was gone. It was gorgeous. And I pulled my credit card out, and they said, and we're going to charge you for 1 hour of labor. That'll be $69.
Oh my goodness.
So all I'm saying is, this energy is so fantastic that no matter what challenge we have, that wasn't major,
Right.
but I could have made it major.
Oh, sure.
Well, I like what you said about it either magnifies our misery or it magnifies our joy. Because
So true.
you know what? It's kind of like what you said, where we're getting all these challenges that are coming up,
Yeah.
where we want to be close to Hearth and Home, and these things keep surfacing. And so, who was it? Was it Wayne Dyer that said your thoughts create your experience? It's the same thing. We either magnify our misery or we magnify our joy, and we get to choose.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that I choose well all the time, but there are times when I need some help, and that's why I reach out to all of you, and you can kind of help me get straight.
We're human. I mean, that's bound to happen, and that's why it's really important to have such a good support network. Because when we do get off track with the way that we think or the way that trying to understand our feelings, it's always good to have somebody that can kind of help talk to you and get you back on track.
Yeah.
I want to
Help
say
shift
one last thing, and then I'm going to shut up for a long time.
I
But what I want to emphasize for me that has happened in the last few years and a lot this year is that when I shift to joy, when I'm challenged by a situation, my consciousness affects reality. Reality does not affect consciousness. And time travel scientists have proven that with their machines. And my reality completely changes. I now know if I had been upset and miserable,
yes.
not only would I've not gotten in very well at the collision, and long hair Bill, that was why it was called long hair collision. Not only would he have not helped me very well, he might have gotten a little bit of damage, but he would have charged me a lot more.
Yeah.
Right.
My whole story shifted. That's what I now know. If I've been
And
miserable,
don't you feel it shift instantly? Like
Yes.
I had some awarenesses with me around health and so forth, and I mean literally, I felt it shift instantly.
right?
Instantly.
Instantly.
I was just blown away by that.
Yeah. Here's the other thing that I'm just going to bring up before we kind of wrap it up a little bit. I think this is part of the reason why I value all of your friendship so much, because when I share a situation with all of you individually, as a group, whatever, you all have completely different perspectives
Right.
than what I have. And in that, I'm able to see choices that help me instantly shift,
Right.
help me choose differently, help me, as someone wise once said, elevate my own perfection, which, is a big job, but there you go. It looks different on different days. But that's the great part. And then so I would just encourage all of you that look around to your friendship circle.
Right.
Look and see who can you depend on, who will bring you solutions and perspective without judgment and help you to just increase your awareness even more and help you be the person, the highest version of yourself that you were born to be. So I know that this shifted into a very different place, but I love what we all said. We have some great takeaways about magnifying joy, about really connecting with Earth and Hearth and Home, and about really just embracing the challenges that are coming forward for us. So with that, we look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Katrina.
Loretta.
Lori.
And I'm Lisa.
Don't forget to connect with us on risingtidesglobal.com. We would love it if you would.
Our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Oh,
right. Rising Tides Global. Our Facebook page. That's
And-
the easiest way because
Perfect.
you can reach us all individually. You can see what we're posting together, and you can watch these episodes. They're all
Absolutely.
in there.
Please leave us a comment below this
Yes.
video and some quotes. Let us know what you like and what your comments are. We'd love to answer them as we're filming. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.